The chair is loose. Let me tell you about one of the most mind-blowing experiences I ever had when building a project. It's the first time I saw a two-dimensional drawing get turned into a three-dimensional shape with curves going in different directions and flowing lines, and they were the same shape. I'm gonna recreate it so you can feel that same experience if you've never tried this technique before. To pull off the look I'm going for, I'm gonna make a template. Now, if you watch many of my videos, you know I like to make templates. It just makes things easier. You can make a template using PowerPoint. You could even use Microsoft Paint if you wanted to. I'm gonna use a vector software called Inkscape because one, it's awesome, and two, it's free. First thing I'm gonna do is make a rectangle. I got my shapes over here on the left-hand side. I'm gonna click the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, and up at the top here, I can change whatever the length and the width's gonna be. Let's make this 1 inch, and let's do 3.5. Well, these like to have a nice curve to them, so I'm gonna draw another shape, a circle. Over on the left, I got a circle tool. Click on that and make a big circle. Let's make it big, maybe 4 inches. You can do a million things with a software like this, but there are kind of 4 staples that you kind of have to know if you're gonna start off. Fill, stroke, object, and path. Fill is exactly what it sounds like. You're changing the color of your shape. So I could take my shape, I click on it, and I could click on any of these colors down here, like blue. There we go. That's the fill. Stroke is the outline of that. So you see this has a black line, so that is the stroke. You could also change that if you want to by right-clicking on any of these colors and hitting Set Stroke. I'm gonna switch it back to black and back to white. An object, anything that you draw on your screen, like a shape, a rectangle, a circle, those are all objects. A path lets us manipulate this shape into all kinds of cool things. So if I click on my shape, you can see that I just have these arrows to let me resize it. Okay, that's sweet and all, but I could come up to the top here and go to Path, Object to Path. Now, whenever I click on my shape and I click on the dot tool over here on the left-hand side, I've got these dots. And those can be moved around, and I can do all kinds of funky things with those. Now that we know the basics, let's make a template. I'm gonna take my rectangle and make a copy of it over here to the side, and I'm gonna change the stroke so it looks a little bit different. I'm gonna go down here and grab a bright color. I like a bright color for this. There we go. Now I know that this right now is 1 inch wide. Let's change that. Let's go with 5/8. I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna drag it on top of that one. And you see how it kind of just snaps there, right? Boom, snaps on there. If yours doesn't snap, there's a little snap button over here. All these things are ways to make your shapes snap together. Best way to learn those is just to play with those options. I got a 5/8 wide rectangle inside a 1 inch rectangle. It helps to have some guidelines, so I could go over to my ruler and I can just click and drag and it will put a guideline there. You can do the same thing up at the top, or you can even do it here from the corners too. But I don't need this one. I'm gonna grab that one, throw it out of the way, and I'm gonna click on this guy and I'm gonna move him right over here. Let's see here. We're completely making this up. How about right there? That's good. I'm gonna get this rectangle out of the way. I got my big circle. I'm gonna move that around and figure out how I want this. Let's see here. This is the foot of the leg. Let's move it down to like somewhere around there. What I've been envisioning is all of this is the leg and then it flares out down this way. In hindsight, let's make the circle a little bit bigger. Doesn't hurt. Let's up it to 5 inches. There we go. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of a toe right there on that leg. I don't know why, just it needs something. Snap that to my guideline. Not too bad. Doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but watch this. I'm just going to select both of them. I'm just clicking and dragging my mouse, select both of them. I'm gonna come up here to Path, and I'm gonna come down to Fracture. Boom. Look what it does. It takes these and, look at that. Oh yeah, check that out. It separates all my pieces. You can see we actually have a curve now. Just need to clean it up a bit. I'm gonna take my bright rectangle, put it right back on top of these guys, select them all and do it again. Fracture. Let's get rid of that guy. There we go. Now we're cooking with fire. This guideline, let's just throw that guy out of there. Now we just gotta take these, make them all one piece. Super easy. Select it all, back up here to Path again and go to Union. Boom. From there, we could modify it more. We can make it shorter or fatter or make a steeper curve, whatever, but it looks pretty good for me. I'm gonna print it out now. I got my template. Now, whenever I printed it out, I did transpose it so that I have two versions, one facing this way and one facing that way. I've got some contact paper. I got a workpiece and I have some spray adhesive. My workpiece is rosewood. I think it's rosewood. I cut a rabbit on the inside corner. That's because these legs are made so they can be glued to the outside corners of a box. It'd be much easier to cut these rabbits now than it would be later whenever you have the profile already cut. I'm gonna take some contact paper. I'm gonna stick it onto my workpiece. Then I can use spray adhesive, spray my template, and then stick it on the workpiece. The contact paper makes it so that the template will easily peel off and I won't have some gooky, some sticky residue. I won't have residue on it. I sprayed my template with some spray adhesive, and now I'm gonna stick it on my workpiece. And the plan is making sure that that toe is towards the inside, not the, well, the outside, not the inside, the outside. So we got the inside rabbit, and then the template swoops down, goes to that point right there. Now we take the other template, do the same thing. Now we cut it out. You can use a bandsaw with a small blade on it, or you use a scroll saw, which is what I'm gonna do. And I also recommend having some clear packing tape because you're gonna cut this apart and then you're gonna tape it up and you're gonna cut it apart again. It makes sense after you do it all. Cut the one side off, but I kept the scrap piece. That's gonna go right back on, and I'm just gonna use some packing tape. Okay, now it's time to cut the other side. Again, if you've never tried this technique, it's pretty cool whenever you first see it. Check it out. We got the pattern that we cut out on one side, we had the pattern on the other side, and then that. I don't know, there's just something about it. It is so cool to see something as simple as this one little pattern turning into this sculpted leg like that. Oh, it is really easy to do. Now that's the kind of woodworking that I enjoy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and a big thank you to the superhero community over on Patreon for supporting me in the videos that I make. And until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome. Yeah.